Hey guys, so welcome to the replay analysis of the Blizzcon finals this year in 2008, of course. If you're watching this later, then sad for you. So we got the fourth game here between Rogue and TY. Don't have the scoreboard here, unfortunately, because replays don't allow for set games showing the scores so far in the matchup. So we got, I believe we got a 2-1 for Rogue. Rogue defeating TY on the basis of 2 consecutive proxy 2 racks defenses. Just defended proxy 2 racks and then proceeded to basically just, it's kind of going, all in on his side, just to defeat TY. But it was not too much of a risk taken by Rogue because I know because of course he knew that TY was at a disadvantage. So this game's not actually going for the spawning pool opening. He's going for hatch first, very standard. He's still scouting for proxy 2 racks. You'll see his first overlord moving around there. And he was in fact still going for a proxy racks, but it's only 1 racks worth of gas. So this will most likely be just a proxy reaper, just to get much quicker into the base of Rogue. I haven't played on this map in a long time because the current season does not include Lost and Found, and I only came back to StarCraft just a little bit before the previous season ended, so I got a few games on this map, but nonetheless, just wanted to know whether or not a Reaper can actually come up here. I believe he can. So this Reaper is going to be rallied straight to the natural of Rogue. Rogue doing awesome stuff, something that I only realized in the first match, I think, in the series. He actually goes for the 3rd hatchery before queuing up Zerglings and Queens, which is awesome. I'm actually probably going to incorporate that into my play more often, because I always struggle to get up the 3rd sometimes before I actually get enough Queens, because the damn Reaper always denies any Zerglings without speed, and the Zerglings that try to escort the drone to the 3rd. So it's quite cool to see Rogue going for the early 3rd. Then it's right before the Reaper can even deny the 3rd. Even with a proxy Rex, as you just saw, it can't really deny a 3rd because it's not there in time. So yeah, just normal harass stuff with the Reaper. I only saw 1 queen though for Rogue, which is quite surprising. Where are his minerals? He did queue up speed boost for Zerglings, but he also made quite a few Zerglings. So that's interesting. Probably because he saw the bunker. Just as a Twitch reaction. no more bunker rush, please. So he just made a few Zerglings and then realized it's only a Reaper. Anyway, so this Reaper is just annoying all these Zerglings, quite obnoxious to play against. And the response by TY was just to get a quick natural expansion and a 3rd CC a little while after getting his factory. So the factory is getting that add-on so he can produce aliens, and just just to gain more map control over the Zerg for the time being. Very smart players by TY in this matchup. Just mind gaming a bit with the bunker, but still getting what he wants. He got his Reaper out, still annoying the Zerglings, but the speed finish right now, so that is over and done with. Reapers should actually get killed by these lings going around there. No. Yeah, they are chasing him down. They should catch him. Yeah, he's gonna die. TY trying. Oh, there's a cliff there. I did not even realize that. Awesome. Okay, smart plays by TY. Yeah, so there's a little stuff that everyone can try and incorporate into their play. Yeah, it's micro intensive, but just using the terrain to your advantage. This map is actually classic. I'm very sad that it's not in the current map, or the terrain and just the layout in general is just awesome. Makes me think about Daybreak and I think it was Wings of Liberty days, the heydays. Yeah, Daybreak was one of my favorite maps. It looks similar to that. it still has its own spin on the layout. Anyway, so characteristically, TY is going for the Raven. He's after getting his few Hellions and his 3cc, he's now going into his barracks plays, just swapping around add-ons so he can more effectively create Marines and stuff with the reactors. And yeah, so he can also start producing tanks now. This is of course the patch 4.6 something, so Cyclones were better at this stage, but correct me if I'm wrong, but the games that I actually saw of this era in StarCraft did not see Cyclones too much in this matchup, so even though they could be reacted from a factory, you did not need the tech lab. So yeah, just seeing standard plays, TY getting down his third, adding 2 more barracks, so 5 in total now, and getting our siege tanks +1/+1. So yeah, this is just your bread and butter opening with Terran, albeit I would not always recommend going for the quick 3rd CC, because you can see that backfire. Usually you just see the normal timing with reacted Hellions into expand and then reacted Hellions, and then maybe after your starport or Marines and stuff upgrades, then you start getting a 3rd. But yeah, this is also quite common. You can incorporate this into your play if you play at a lower level and you have not really thought about more economic plays, because I do know that some players, especially me as well, and I used to have my cookie cutter builds, the builds that I really liked, and I used to stick to them. I maybe had 2 or 3 builds that I used to do, and especially in Heart of Swarm, Fast Expands were not one of those. Fast Expand in terms of 3 bases. I like to go 2 bases and then maybe get ahead with some build or something, and then get 3rd. And that's speaking from the Protoss perspective. I know with Zerg, of course, you need 3 bases generally. So I'm just talking from my main race perspective. So yeah, we're just seeing some skirmishes here, changelings going in, trying to scout what the Terran has. I believe Rogue does know about the 3rd base. Yes, he does. So he's just going around with Lings. This is also smart to do, especially on this large map. He's trying to flank a bit with Lings, but they are gonna be killed off. Oh, he couldn't even get that one siege tank. That's sad. But yeah, Rogue's not in a bad spot. He's always as a Zerg try and make drones when not defending or attacking. So he did get up to 72 drones. He's got enough units to defend against his drops. As a Terran, always try and deny creep, of course. So TY is doing that. Usually just the way that he's doing it right now. 16 Marines. Well, a few died off, but 16 Marines and 2 medevacs. And just fly around, kill creep tumors, pick them up again, and send them all over the map just to keep doing that. While you do that, push out when you can, when you have a decently sized army. And yeah, now TY is doing that. He's got Hellbats to fight against the Banelings and the Zerglings. But if I have to be honest, with the Mutalisk, I think Rogue is in a much better spot than TY, and especially than in that first game where Rogue lost. He's got a good composition, and if he handles his army well, he can send his Banelings through, and the Mutalisk will kill the tanks over there. No, Marines deny that. Oh, so this is actually going a bit worse for Rogue than I expected. Just gonna pause there as well, because this sounds really loud. What? Why did my sound effects go up again? I did pull it down. It's very loud. I'm sorry if you could not hear me in that engagement. So the Muta's cleaning up a few siege tanks, well, only about 1, and this looks a bit bad now for Rogue. He's gonna lose this 4th base. It's being killed off, other Marines. We don't see anything else going on the map in terms of armies. We don't see Rogue trying to counterattack with a Ling run by anywhere on the map. But yeah, so that was a very effective push by TY. He's probably got +1/+1 already. Yes, yeah, +2/+2 is almost done. If you look over there, he's getting his vehicle +1 as well, I believe. Yeah. +2/+2, well, +1 melee attack almost down for Rogue. Yeah, so he transitioned to, he had Roaches and Banes and Lings, but he basically transitioned to Ling, Bane and Muta, which is a very classic unit composition. He's not out of this game obviously just yet. He's still got a healthy economy, but TY has caught up in economy. He's got 73 SCVs, which is very healthy for a Terran player. He's got 4 bases up, a lot of mules. But here comes Rogue. He managed to sneak by his TY's army, and he's now doing a lot of economic damage. Getting a few SCVs over there. It's not too detrimental for TY, but it's definitely, it's a decent attack. At least Rogue is keeping him busy while he can fly around his Muta. So you can see there he was taking his 4th base, so this is keeping TY busy. He has to make turrets now, or just run around with Marines and medevacs in his main base so that he can just defend. So this is smart by Rogue. He's just waiting while he's expanding. He's getting his expansions up, he's getting more units and upgrades, so this is good as a Zerg player. The one problematic thing though is 3-3 is already on the way for TY. This is very quick actually, and this might help TY to end this game, because if TY can push out, he's got a, he's almost max supply. He can push out this whole army when 3-3 hits, and this will practically be game over if Rogue does not get good surrounds or flanks with his units, because this 4th base over here is probably gonna die. Just looking at TY's movement, yes, he's defending his siege tanks for the most part with the Marines, and he's moving out with small squads. And yeah, siege tanks are, they two gets picked off. Okay, Rogue is doing decent. This is very well done very well by Rogue, albeit he did lose his expansion, which is sad. And now all those drones have to be sent over to probably this base. Yeah, they're being sent over with their 15 out of 16 counter. We can at least see where they're being sent. But on the flip side, TY is making 2 more command centers, which will probably being left off and sent over to other bases, and most likely be turned into planetary fortresses, which will bolster his defense against any run-bys. So yeah, basically TY is just keeping Rogue very busy right now. He's moving with this army over here. He's actually using Widow Mines, which are cool. This is basically in response to the Mutaling Bane composition, because in this patch, because mines that because Drilling Claws that still reveal mines, they were not as good, but especially against the Zerg composition they were still decent. But yeah, and I just remember in this patch that mines weren't that great because Drilling Claws did not hide their, did not make them invisible or undetectable, whatever. With patch 4.7, of course, we saw the reintroduction of that hidden capabilities when Drilling Claws are researched. But yeah, so he's just keeping Rogue busy. You can see the timing of the infestation pits a bit later than you'd normally see, because Rogue's being he's being kept very busy, and the composition lends itself to trading a lot with a lot of Lings and Banes. Muta's just supplementing that. And you have to trade effectively. Muta's actually here in the main base. Sorry for not catching that quicker. Yeah, talking about the Mutas, but they're actually now stuck here in the main base. They can't really get out of here. They can't go through here. They're going to take some damage. The Thor's doing the AoE. A few Mutas dying. At least it's not the worst ever. So yeah, that Muta harassment did some damage, and now they got a medevac as well, which is not bad. You can see TY just relentless. In fact, he's just pushing out with small squads here and there, dropping mines, and just harassing overall a lot. They're only now we're seeing Hive Tech being researched 14 minutes in, which is a bit late typically. But yeah, so Rogue's being kept busy, and this game might divulge into a very long game if we let it to. Well, if they let it to. And we, because we'll have to watch the whole thing, or we can fast forward. So we'll just see where it goes to. Otherwise, I'm just gonna fast forward to the end game because it might be drawn out for a little. Because we can see it's basically a stalemate. Because yes, TY is harassing Rogue, but Rogue's defending well. He's trading here and there. We can see. Don't know where you check the units lost tab. Oh my lord, I paused. Units lost. There we go. It's quite even. A bit more losses for the Zerg, but that's usually expected. So yeah. So TY's just gonna keep Rogue busy. He's gonna push out here to the north. Or northwest, I should say. You see, he's just using small squadrons of Marauders and Marines. They got 3-3 on, so they're quite tanky and do a lot of damage. And yeah, that's what you do as a Terran usually. Just send out a small squad in the front just to, you know, kill hatcheries. And the Zerg has to respond eventually. And then usually when you have your whole army behind that small squadron, then your tanks and stuff in the back lines can do a lot of damage. And the Zerg will probably lose his whole army if he pushes into you. If he does not control his army too well, or if your army is too big. But yeah, we can see Rogue pulling ahead in supply right now. He's getting a few corruptors, and we should see, I just want to see what the Spire is over at. Weird place, but anyway, there's a greater Spire, so going into Broodlords, it's going to take a while, but you should get into Broodlords. Only thing I'm worried about is so many mutas, and they're not too useful. Because especially against the few Thors that are out, they're not going to be too useful, so you should trade them out. Whenever you're in this situation as Zerg, you want to trade as effectively as possible, but you also want to build up to that awesome composition of Corruptors, Broodlords, and Lings. Banelings, of course, as well. So that the Banelings and stuff can keep the ground army busy of the Terran, and the Corruptors are anti-air, and your Broodlords, of course, they also do awesome damage. But yeah, the Banelings essentially also are against the Thors here, because Thors do decently well against Broodlords if they're supplemented. So yeah, we'll see where this goes to. Rogue still doesn't have Broodlords just yet. Great Spire not finished, so he's trying to trade and push back TYs. Sending a lot of Banelings in, they're getting a few hits off, killing a few Marines and Marauders, but not doing enough actually. If this base goes down, Rogue's in a terrible spot, because this base in the northwest, yes, he's mining some from it, but yeah, he actually saved this, he salvaged this base, nice, not too bad. Just a quick heads up, TY scan over there just to see if there's a base, so that you can go and poke at that base. And yeah, as I suspected, he's got a planetary and more orbitals or whatever being made over here. They also, these command centers also serve as good walls and choke points. They create choke points, so it's very hard for Banelings and stuff to get in. So it's always smart if you play Terran. Do this wall off at your third, like a similar wall off with supply depots, and your fourth base or fifth base or whatever, just create some orbitals, because we know you're a Terran, so we know you got a lot of minerals. So yeah, this is pretty smart by Rogue. He's just going around with these mutas, but he should trade them out eventually, I believe. He's got a few Broodlords already. We can just go to the units tab. He's got only 3 at the moment. He's also making oh yeah, this is smart. He's also making Vipers. I did not think about those. Did not think this response. I did not think of this response. This is great. Getting the Vipers so you can abduct the Thors. Excellent response. They're very good units in the right hand, so yeah. He's also morphing some Broodlords. Not a good spot to morph a Broodlord, so just a heads up whenever you try to go Broodlords, except if you really know that the Terran does not have a response or an army there, go for it. But yeah, you're gonna see this Broodlord die if you spots it. Yeah, so that's a waste. He did cancel the morphing, which is good, but he lost the Corruptor, of course, so that's bad. Sending in more Banelings. They did so much damage, but that's actually because that's actually TY's fault or mistake there, because he didn't really supplement those Marines and Marauders with siege tanks or mines. Mines would have done wonders. Okay, so Broodlords flying slowly across the map. This looks like a stalemate at the moment. We don't see much going on right now. TY just expanding on the side of the map. In this stage of the game, yeah, if you're lucky enough with Zerg, if you got this good creep spread, he's got decent creep spread, not quite half of the map just yet, but it's decent creep spread to move between your bases. So always just keep that in mind. Even late game, of course, it's actually the most crucial part of the game to have good creep spread. My one issue with the Rogue is though I don't see any queens. Unit stab, do you see any queens? One queen. Okay, so Rogue basically, I think at this stage he's just he's basically just thinking, okay, well I got a decent economy, so well he's actually got a terrible gas economy. Yeah, he's not actually got a great economy to be honest. He's got 2 mining bases, but not doesn't have many drones. He lost so many drones. Yeah, this is a terrible spot actually. So he's not making any queens, so just so he can maximize his production for other units. But he's gonna run into a terrible spot because TY is farming a lot, and he'll need to make a good composition with what he has. So in this spot with Zerg, I also had matches where I played like this. I'm not that great at Zerg. I usually lose late game against Terran, but yeah, this spot I also struggle because all my 6th or whatever bases keep getting destroyed, like this one, because my army is. I also try to flank like this with Banelings and Lings, but usually too preoccupied with destroying Widow Mines and making sure I don't run over them on the map, especially in this patch, in the current patch. I'm too preoccupied with that, so I end up losing my bases just like this. So yeah, we have to. Yeah, I mean, even good players like Rogue fall to this, and it's just, I know, just because he doesn't have a huge economy, so he's forced to expand wherever he can, and Broodlords are slow. But yeah, this is a decent composition by Rogue. Definitely not the most desired. The mutas need to be traded out somehow, but he doesn't have the economy, so he's not just gonna do it deliberately, just trading them out. So he has to do it cost effectively. Oh, awesome Bane's coming in there. Oh, exploding a few SCVs. 28 SCVs in total have died this game, so that's epic. Some decent harassment. Yeah, so Rogue, not in a great spot, but just want to continue with the previous train of thought about trying to get more bases up. You see, I do the exact same thing, and I know I do it conscientiously. I expand like on this side of the map, and I do know that it's a risk because I don't have units to defend that. But at least he's got his main army is right over here, so they're not too far from it. But I mean, a Terran can just stim a few Marines and stuff, and they'll just demolish that base within a few seconds. But Rogue spotted the push out by TY. So yeah, this is decent defense by Rogue. I'm still worried about his economy though. He's not in a very good spot overall. TY is amassing marauders. Oh, he's got a few marauders, so he's got so many liberators. So this is interesting. I know it's for the brood lords, of course, but they're also good at defending. They're also good at static defense, so putting them in defender mode is always useful against baneling pushes and stuff. But they're primarily against brood lords in this scenario. I'm interested to see them though. Oh, see, they're fighting the mutas also. Anti-armor missile on the mutas. Here come many lings to attack this fortified position. They're gonna destroy this planter. Epic. Main army of Rogue still sitting there. They're just trading out some lings and stuff. I don't know how effectively he's actually trading. Looks okay, but now with the Marines reinforcing it, they have to back away. Okay, Rogue got up the 6th base, I believe. Yeah, he doesn't have many queens and stuff, so well, there's one queen, but which means he doesn't even have the economy for that. So it's kind of pointless to have many queens to produce larvae. But still, I mean, you need a few queens just in case, even to supplement your army for to give them some health injects, the transfuses. So yeah, so Rogue just poking around, seeing where he can push in and maybe do some damage. The TY is just quietly just amassing a decent composition. The reason why I was surprised about the Liberators, I've not really seen mass Liberator against Broodlords, but I believe they are quite decent against them. I usually just see mass Vikings, or when I play against Broodlord I also do that, but of course these players are of a much higher caliber. But I did not even see that much this style in pro matches, so it's maybe just a TY thing, you know. We see some birdlings over here, so they'll just unburrow at a very fortuitous time and go do some damage, kill some SCVs. That will be awesome to see. We see this defender range, or whatever it's called, the range upgrade for Liberators. Like I said previously, they're awesome at defending. That's their most useful mode. But we'll see how this game. I'm just gonna fast forward a bit. I'm not sure how to bring up the replay timeline for in this observer view, this WCS interface or whatever this one is called. See more lings over there. That's quite interesting. These lings unburied. I think they actually got spotted or something. You see the blood marks there. They got killed. I'm just gonna fast forward a little bit. Let's just see what happens. This game looks a bit boring at the moment, so I don't want to bore everybody. Yeah, but mainly what we can gather from this game is TY is in a much better spot than Rogue is. He's got his army supply is much larger, but Rogue is not maxed out just yet, so he might catch up over there in that regard. His economy, his income is his mineral income is better than TY's at the moment. Okay, but let's see how this game pans out. Seeing a lot of corruptors coming in, anti-armor missiles on the corruptors. Where are the liberators though to fight these? That was decent by Rogue, but I'm just flustered. Why aren't these liberators and ghosts in that fight? It seems like TY is stalling this game, but I can't think of any reason why I should do that. All the liberators are at this choke point in defender mode right now, so he's going to push out the ghosts. Hopefully he's hoping for Zerglings chasing them, and then of course the defender modes will pound them into oblivion. This is cool. It's using some tactical nukes here to just you know, prevent the Zerg from pushing in, using positional advantage there. Poor Rogue can't expand anywhere, and TY is basically, he's got more bases than Rogue, of course, so Rogue needs to do something. So actually this is why TY is playing so patiently. He knows that he's ahead and he just has to stall the game. He's not going for the juggler just yet. He just wants to play for the super late game. Well, we are in the late game already, but what I essentially just mean is he's probably got upgrade advantages as well. I can't remember where to check that, but in production at least we can see that he's got, yeah, because with this interface you can't click on stuff and see which upgrades are applied or on units, sadly. I still need to get hard keys for that. Anyway, so he's got upgrade advantages, I'm pretty sure. He's got +3 attack for ship weapons almost completed, and you can see flyer attack 2 only being researched now for Rogue. So TY knows this, and he's just playing the slow game. And look at the Vikings; they're not being defended by anything just yet. Where are the corruptors? There come the corruptors. And yeah, if you ask me, TY is definitely in a better spot. If I were in the spot for TY, I would also feel good. Just keep on expanding everywhere. Having he doesn't have too many defensive positions at his bases, so that could be detrimental if Rogue ever decides to push out with lings or whatever. But I think TY feels comfortable that he can just keep on poking with nukes and putting his liberators over here. So his main army is over here. He's got a attack squad over here, so he's just gonna destroy Zerg bases. You can see these poor bases or buildings are not on creep, so they're gonna die out eventually. Here comes the main attack though. Vikings being corrupted or whatever that ability is called. Yeah, Rogue's doing decent. I did not see I don't see the Vikings do too much, and the Ghosts, okay, they're getting a few snipes off, but is Rogue doing this actually? I'm a bit hesitant to get too excited though, because TY's got a healthy economy, backbone economy, but so is Rogue. Rogue's got a decent economy in fact. It just doesn't show because it doesn't look like that, because TY's got, he's mining across the whole map. But this army is so scary by Rogue. I'm very surprised that he actually, well, probably shouldn't be too surprised because his army composition is very strong. See, he doesn't have any more Vipers anymore, so that sucks. His Spire got killed, so he can't make more Corruptors and stuff. Yeah, so this looks kind of good for Rogue, but then again, he needs to defend. Yeah, he should be able to defend his bases. Now this is looking great for Rogue. What does TOI have to defend with? He's got his ground army and a few Liberators and producing more stuff, Vikings and Liberators. But will he be able to produce them in time? These are many Broodlords. I mean, this unit selection is weird, but this looks like this is 12-13 in fact. So yeah, there's are many Broodlords. Corruptor's getting owned by the anti-armor missiles though. What's gonna happen over here? The Broodlords are gonna be left alone. They can't defend. Yeah, Rogue actually called GG. Interesting. I thought as much because that looked very good for Rogue, but in the end he lost all his Corruptors, so the Broodlords were in essence very useless because they can still attack the ground, but the anti-air for Terran will just mow them down, and that's why he called GG even before he actually lost his whole army. So yeah, that's quite sad. But TY played well that game, so we're going to game 5 then. We'll be interested to see what strategies they use. That was a very long game. I typically don't like the super long games, but we'll see what happens next. And thank you for watching this game with me.